Hey, it's Scratchy Orloff here. Just thought you'd like to know that you can explore the unknown with a 49-cent high-power microscope. What else can you get? They smoke themselves. Baffling. A little stick that looks like a match. Put it into any picture. Light it. It will smoke itself. Puff and blow smoke rings. What makes it work? Everybody will be amazed. From Flags Trading Company, New York, New York. This is, of course, a copy of Crime Does Not Pay, number 132. Oh, this my light makes it difficult to photograph. Yes, indeed. Lev Gleason, publisher. That's 132. Here's 114. Here's over 100 million copies sold. Can you imagine a comic selling those kind of numbers today? Yeah, crime comics were a big deal back in the late 40s, early 50s, till the Comics Code pretty much closed them down. Here's another copy, number 61. Oh, prizes for everyone. Yeah. Here's Headline Comics, not as exciting. Oh, here's a good one. Crime Fighters. These rats are all the same. The minute the chips are down, they turn yellow. All crooks are yellow. Oh, look, she's got a tattoo. Hey, fellows. Here's a real He-Man gun out of the Golden West. Get this lightning loading, fast shooting 1,000 shot air rifle. Gotta sell seeds though. These are just some comics I'm organizing as I reorganize this whole mess. This is, of course, House of Secrets from the early 70s. But, you know, this is, they really did a pretty good job making this look EC-like, didn't they? You can tell that was their goal. And, of course, Alfredo Alcala was a favorite artist of mine back then. Oh, I have this. I had it, and I still have it. The Smash Up Derby. That was a lot of fun. And you can order these stickers. You can wear to your next Antifa riot. Help, I need lovin'. Yeah, you could be the hit of the riot. You will be the belle of Portland wearing these nice patches. Yes, indeed. Yes. The House of Secrets. This is an amazing Bernie Wrightson cover that really captures the EC feel. I think I showed that to you before. Here's another one that's the same artist that really gets that feel. Let's see, what do they ever... Oh, I always love this ad. The Adventures of Corgi Boy. Metal Men. Yes. The Infantry Quest. My brother actually ordered from one of these ads back about 1971, I think. He ordered the Civil War soldiers, and they were little bitty tiny soldiers, and then there was a plastic battlefield, and I remember there were little bridges that would actually blow up that were, they get a little rubber band that would make these bridges that were about this big, appeared to blow up. This is my childhood copy here. So I kept my comics pretty nice as a child. Nice. Of course, early 70s, the comics code had relaxed a little bit, and so monsters and vampires and the undead were allowed in comics again. That they hadn't really been allowed since the 50s. I mean, you could have like a cartoonish Dracula or Frankenstein, like in Bob Hope or Jerry Lewis or something, but you really couldn't show anything that was undead there. That's why Marvel, you know, they didn't want to risk it. They were still trying to be careful, so it was the living mummy. He wasn't really dead. He was really kind of alive. In Morbius, the living vampire. That way, you know, it's not undead. I always like this ad. It says, if you want your parents to get you a Daisy BB gun, look at it from their point of view. Okay, they're saying you're being irresponsible if you keep your room messy. But I always like the ad because I like to look at what this messy kid was reading, you know, because he has Mad Magazine, everything. I was just like fascinated looking at a kid's room. I guess I'm strange. This is also a childhood copy. Normally I was real careful. I must not have had a choice. Even as a kid, I wanted to make sure the spine didn't have the white showing, you know, that it was lined up perfectly with the fold. But I didn't do it with this issue. So I imagine it was the only. All the copies at the 7-Eleven or wherever were in the. Okay, this is the Civil War set that my my brother ordered. Yeah, look at this. German's been shot in the head. No, this is the one that my brother ordered. I still have some of the soldiers. A complete game. A giant square-foot plastic battlefield. Square foot means literally 1 foot, like a tile on the, and it was folded up, depicting Chickamauga, the River of Death, appropriately named by Indians, as 34,000 troops were killed or wounded there. Yes, indeed. And what they didn't tell you. The soldiers you get were actually, these are actually probably actual size to the actual ones that you got. So artwork is really shitty, but I love it. I mean, it looks like it was drawn by a really talented, like, 13-year-old. Howard the Duck. I loved Howard the Duck. I could never find, when I was a kid, issues 1 and 2, and then I was later able to find 2. But they were apparently very, especially issue 1 was very low distribution. But I think people bought up lots of copies to investors. I remember it went up to astronomical prices of like $15, $20, $30 back in 1976. And it was something people loved and kind of revered until the George Lucas movie came out and then kind of made people embarrassed by it. But maybe things are changing for Howard the Duck. He didn't wear pants until the Disney Corporation sued, and then they had this storyline where this evil religious organization got upset that Howard the Duck didn't have pants on. It was supposed to be Disney, you know, and they forced Howard the Duck to put on pants. Then they just did that to avoid the lawsuit. Robert Bell was a major comic dealer. I never ordered anything from him, but a friend of mine about a year ago, gave me his entire Avengers collection, and a lot of that was ordered from Robert Bell. He said that the day that the moon landing happened, he couldn't really be bothered to watch the moon landing because he was busy opening up his Robert Bell package with whatever he had ordered, early copies of Spider-Man or the Avengers. This is a later period Captain Marvel comic. You know, Elvis Presley, they've said, pretty much it's confirmed that this was his favorite cartoon comic strip character, and he kind of styled himself hair-wise and in later period with a cape to look like Captain Marvel Jr. Map. Captain Marvel. Or as idiots today call him, Shazam. Well, this is a copy of Phoenix #2. This is my childhood copy from Atlas Comics, which was around for about half a year. They managed to put out 3 or 4 issues of all the titles. They were trying to be a new Marvel. They were trying to, you can watch whole videos about it, but they were, it was weird. So they had a comic book line that aped Marvel, and they also had a magazine line. I love their ads. They had ads that were kind of like what you'd see in a monster magazine. There's that Civil War ad again. Yeah, they were trying to be like Marvel, but they hired away from Warren magazines an individual who was used to doing editing the magazines, horror magazines, to do the color comics, and then for the black and white line they hired another guy that was used to doing color comics. And so, since the editor was used to more freedom in the black and white magazines, there's a lot of kind of stuff that you wouldn't see in Marvel or DC comics in these Atlas comics. Language gets a little strong, and violence gets a little strong, and it's kind of noticeable to a 4th grader reading this. This is a little bit different, and apparently the Comics Code gave them a lot of trouble. This is a pretty famous storico cover. Never really was into westerns as a kid. Of course, this is all reprints inside. Not sure. Just westerns didn't interest me, and I wasn't really into, what else did I not get? Well, of course, I wasn't into the romance comics. And the Kung Fu comics didn't really interest me, you know, but I think I really didn't see many of the movies until much later, because they were all rated R in the mid-70s, early 70s. And I think Kung Fu lends itself much better to movies than to comics. This is I actually have 2 copies of this. I have no idea how. I must have gotten it from, here's another copy I was just noticing. Must have gotten it from Cosmic Comics in Grand Prairie, Texas, because he obtained a huge stash of Sad Sack comics back, a couple years back. And I picked up some and then realized, well, it's not really that entertaining, but I remember a lot of Sad Sack comics being around on the Army bases when I was a kid, growing up as an Army brat until you know, kindergarten through 5th grade. Grog grows own tail. Plant tail outside. Plant tail outside, and it grows like mad into a beautiful shade tree. Grog, amazing prehistoric monster, comes with a half a tail. In a few days, the tail starts growing. It grows, grows, grows. Remove the tail from Grog's body and plant it outside, and it springs quickly into a flowering, fragrant shade tree. Then Grog grows another tail. Remove the tail again, and it grows another and another endlessly. Only $1. I am enclosing cash check or money order for $1 plus 25-cent postage, for which please send me my grog. I understand if I am not satisfied, my money will be returned. So you break the tail off, and you can create a veritable forest in your backyard. Of course, Sad Sack had a huge line, just like Richie Rich, and here's all the other Harvey stuff you could get. I loved Harvey. Harvey was just, you don't really see it much. You know, I guess a lot of people don't collect it, but it's just, it was so ever present on all the spinner racks, Harvey Comics and Gold Key, but I guess collectors didn't really collect it, so it doesn't really show up in stores. You can look for your local TV station here. Let's see what Dallas, Texas, WBAP. Oh, they still called it WBAP. It later became KXAS, Channel 5. Yes, indeed. What else kind of garbage can I show you here? Okay, yeah, these comics I thought were worthless for many years because they were Whitman, and now I realize that, well, Whitman is actually valuable. So they changed the rules on me. Okay, so apparently these are valuable, so I pulled them, and yeah, so you know, I kept my comics in great shape. Apparently these people are really into the black costume, and apparently this is a real valuable issue. I don't like that they restarted the numbering. They keep I noticed that Thor has restarted its numbering lately, and you know, I don't like that. Oh, here's a variation on that Howard the Duck I was just showing you. Different price. So, lots of stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel Presents. That might be valuable someday. Who knows? There's the Dynamites I showed you the other day. What other kinds of stuff is in here? I think I've shown you all this stuff. Lots of Antifa protesting, of course. And bands playing. This is Madhouse. It's a madhouse. Merrill's Marauders. I think I've shown you all this stuff. Oh my goodness. But since it's almost Christmas, we'll end with